feminism. That's destructive.
By the time you finish calling, I'm going to leave this chair with a wet patch.
Rob, the world's bring the asteroid.
Do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years.
So sleeping with 1,057 men in a day.
It's good work ethic.
We live in clown world, and I just enjoy the circus.
Do you think Andrew Tate is guilty of the charges against him?
Like, there's no way out for you.
You're so trapped in the matrix.
You're judging me, Andrew.
Feminism is a bullet that a man has shot.
Do you send your son to Bonnie?
Andrew, I do father and son as well. Brother and brother?
It's all disgusting to me.
I heard they call you Cobra Tate. Are you packing a python?
Bonnie.
I would have Hitler to survive.
The entire Western world is women f***ing for money.
Imagine how powerful our baby would be.
Survivor DNA.
So who's Tate, your wife or me?
Next question, huh?
Let me answer then.
What's happening with Lily? You got Obi.
I'll tell you.
Bro, you know she is super villain because she said she would smash Hitler to survive. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Cool story.
Cool. Would I Bonnie for all the power in the world?
Yeah. Andrew, what do you think of Bonnie Blue sleeping with 1,057 men?
How honest should I be out of 10?
11.
I want you to be honest.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah, go on.
I don't understand why men sit here and try and lecture you about it. I don't understand why men sit here and say you shouldn't do it. It's your body, your choice, right? This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism. You are the perfect end result of feminism. In the world I believe in the conservative, traditionally masculinely ruled world, a man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that. You know, women complain that men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared, and they complained about the patriarchy, and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices. So she's making her own choice. That's a fantastic thing. I actually have a lot of respect for you because you own it and you're honest about it.
What if it was your daughter?
Well, that won't happen.
But she's her own person.
I never said my daughter's her own person. I said
That's facts.
I said women want to be their own people. But my point is, there's so many women who go to Magaluf for a weekend and do something very similar, and then they come back to England and get with some guy. And
Time out real quick, bro. She's 25. She do not look 25, man. And this is a lot of makeup. The cameras are shining good. You know it's good cameras and good lightings that really don't show any blemishes. She looks at least 31. At least 31 from hair. But she's 25. That's crazy, man. That's what happens when you're that promiscuous and being smashed by 1,500 men in a day. That's OD.
start asking for presents from him and talking about how they deserve a traditional relationship and they want to get married and they want a Christmas present and all this bullshit. Most women do exactly what Bonnie does. I don't see you any different than most women. And I'm not saying that in a degrading way.
Most women don't sleep with 1,057 men in a day.
1,000? Does it fucking matter?
I think it does.
I don't really think it does.
So
it's all disgusting to me. If I met a woman and she said, I just sucked a dick yesterday, I'd say, well, I find you repulsive. I don't want to sleep with you. Goodbye.
What, so you're only going after virgins?
Well, it's not about only going after virgins, but I think if you're a straight man, the idea of having a bunch of men, a woman that you're with, is pretty repulsive.
But everyone has a past.
But see, this is the kind of shit people say. I don't know what's wrong with you people. Everyone has a past. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, it isn't acceptable. Shout outs to you, Tate, for catching that very fast, because it's like, it's so funny how society, they always want to make an excuse when the woman is talking about her past. Well, you know, everyone has a past. It's like if a dude is saying that, yo, man, I'm broke right now, man. Who's going to be like, man, everybody got a past? No, that's not excusing it. Now, one of your friends, they may be like, yo, man, I've been there before, you know, stuff like that. They may say something to, you know, but society as a whole, they say when women are speaking about them being promiscuous, society as a whole likes to make an excuse so the woman isn't accountable for anything and say, oh, well, everyone has a past. Oh, I'm broke. Broke? Man, you need to get a job. Go on Indeed. Like, there's no excuses. Society as a whole does not try to make an excuse for a man not having the capabilities of, you know, being financially stable. You know what I'm saying? But for women, when they're promiscuous, everyone has a past. Stupid.
In fact, let's analyze that. Everyone has a past. You're right. Everyone does have a past. It's true. But isn't the primary objective of a man to find a woman with as little past as possible? Would you argue that's one of the precursors to finding a wife? Considering that wives were supposed to be virgins. This was the deal. The reason I'm proud of Bonnie, and I am genuinely proud of you, I like Bonnie. I like what she's doing. Because the deal was...
Are you not, contradicting yourself here?
In what way?
Well, you're proud of her sleeping with 1,057 guys, but women should be virgins.
No, I'm saying that the social contract, the construct of society that made family function, was women were obedient virgins, and they found a man who provided for them, and they listened to that man. Women have then said, we don't like the patriarchy. We're tired of being provided for. We're tired of being taken care of. We don't want to listen to anybody. We want to make our own decisions. That was women and feminism that ended the traditional family unit. And now women can make their own decisions. So I'm glad that Bonnie's making her own decision.
Yeah,
I'm not here to tell you not to do it.
I take women back 100 years. I'm like, no, I'm the clear example of how to be empowered. I use my body. I do what I want, when I want. And this is a thing you've been banging on about for years. And when I get hate, like when I click on the comments of these women that are like, oh, you're taking us back 100 years, then in their bio it says stay-at-home mom of two. I'm thinking, what was you rooting for?
That's
because
right.
you have just stayed
That's
at
right,
home.
Bonnie. See, this is the future.
Yeah.
This is the future. This is fantastic. It's exactly what Western society is headed to. So why are we going to sit here and pretend this is not? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that most women who go on girls' holidays aren't doing something similar to what Bonnie does, just because it's not on camera? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that these men who walk around with their wives in the pub in England, and they're like, oh, my wife, yeah, everyone has a past. Oh, no, she's done the same shit. What's the difference? Who gives a f***, right? We're either going to care and accept that women are judged on their past and judged on their innocence and judged on their naivety and judged on these things like it used to be, or we're going to sit and say it doesn't matter, everyone has a past. Well, if everyone has a past, everyone has a past. Who gives a f***? Does it really matter?
So
anymore?
What would you do if it was your daughter, though?
But why are you asking impossible questions?
Well, it's not an impossible question.
Of course it is.
How?
It can't happen.
But anything can happen.
It's against the laws of physics.
It's not.
I mean, if your daughter opened her legs and took 1,000 dicks, it's not impossible.
Yeah, so that's the difference here. I know what Tate is doing and what he's saying, which is true, and he's getting to a further point here, because I watched a quite bit of this. But essentially, there's many differences between a Bonnie Blue and a woman that has a girls trip and then she gets plowed by a man. So Bonnie Blue isn't in a relationship. She's single. But then there's a woman that is single and she has a girls trip, and on this girls trip over the weekend, she has sex with, let's just give it 4 guys. It's a week trip. She's out there for 7 days. She has sex with 4 guys. That's horish. That girl would be a full 304. Full 304. But compared to a Bonnie Blue that has sex with 1,500 men in one day, and she's doing it because she actually she likes it. This is what she wants. She gets random dudes just to have sex with her. These guys aren't paying her. She's doing it and she gets money off of it through OF and through other avenues as far as putting out her content and stuff like that. So with that being said, no, there's levels to the game, because we got to think about it. I would ask Andrew Tate, well, Tate, we have to say that there is a difference, right? Would you date Bonnie Blue, or would you date a woman that had one hot girl summer and she got smashed by 4 guys in a week? Which one would you want? Now, he would be like, I wouldn't want any of them. No, I would say, Tate, gun to your head, which one would you choose? He would say, well, the girl that had the hot girl summer. Now, you can try to go ahead and, say that, well, the girl that had the hot girl summer, who's to say she's not just like Bonnie Blue? No, Bonnie Blue is like a 1 in a trillion, right? She's like the Captain Planet, who everyone knows, like the old cartoon Captain Planet. She's like the Captain Planet of what a woman feminist would become. Because the woman feminist is all about sexual liberation, women empowerment, and Bonnie Blue just took it to another level. So she's like the Captain Planet of a woman feminist in modernity today. So no, there's definitely differences, Tate. And he's saying this to, he's going to put it together. But if I was interviewing, I'd be like, I know what you're doing there, but there's still differences. There's definitely a big difference.
Possible.
Of course it is.
What?
Why
I
is
mean,
it
the dicks
impossible?
would enter her therefore she's taken.
It's literally impossible for my daughter.
What, are you going to be there against your daughter's saying that it's not entering it?
No, my daughter just wouldn't make that decision.
But why?
Because I still raise her in a household where she is masculinely guided, and she will be guided by me until I hand her over to some other man.
That's facts. That's facts. As a father of 2 daughters, I say the same. My daughter is going to live with me until I hand her over to another man, because I will be the one that's, helping find a suitable candidate, a mate, a husband for her. Like, that's not going to happen with my daughter. Now we can say that women have agency and my daughter and Tate's daughter can choose to rebel. Well, guess what? If they rebel, you're not coming back in my house. And I think that he most likely would hold that same belief too, because you're not just going to ruin the family's name and then think you could come back in the house after being a 304 and getting plowed by many men. Nah, you wanted to go ahead and make that choice? Stay out there in them streets. But the thing is, I would make my daughter aware of the consequences for her actions. So you can be protected and guided by your father, me, until we find you a man, and you'll live a comfortable life in my household until we find you a suitable mate. But if you go outside of this house and you want to try to discover life on your own, well, guess what? Once you leave without my guidance, you're going forever. And that's the consequence. So no more clothes and stuff that I'm purchasing you. No more, oh, you want money for this? You want money for that? You don't get all of this privilege and these special access that you normally would get from me by living under my roof and obeying by my rules if you choose to rebel and disobey me. So there's consequences for your actions. And I think as a father, if you lay the law down like that, the child will be less likely to go out there and make a stupid decision.
However, I believe when women are left to their own devices, they will only ever make stupid decisions.
Was mine a stupid decision?
Dane, he said exactly what I said.
I wouldn't say it's any more stupid than most decisions women make, to be honest with you. I think that most women, to some degree, are sex workers anyway. Let's be honest about it, right? Most women look at Miami or Dubai. What's your job? Oh, I've got a boyfriend. So your job is being a girlfriend. Why does he give you?
So what Tate is currently doing, he's conflating a lot of the things. So he's conflating women that get protected and provided for versus women that's in Miami using guys for their money. He's going to conflate these ideas to take the impact, the emphasis off of what Bonnie Blue is doing. And he did this strategically because his main point throughout when the interview goes on, he's just showing a bright light on, listen, this is what happens when you let feminism run and ruin your country. This is what happens. Bonnie is the prime example of live and let live. Sexual liberation. You don't need a man. You can do battle by yourself. Be independent. She's the prime example of all of this. But what he's saying right now, I don't agree with that. You can find a distinction between a woman that's being protected and provided for, and a man is taking her out on dates and stuff like that. It's something genuine there, versus a woman that's actually in a relationship using a man and being a gold digger. But let's continue on.
Give you money because you give him sex. So most women are sex workers anyway, to be honest.
But isn't that what you said the family unit was?
Well, then you're a sex worker with one customer. Which is nice. I guess it's better. It's more efficient.
But what about if you're raising children? That's not sex work, is it?
No, that's being a mother.
Yeah.
All right, so that's interesting, Rob. Rob said this, not me. So they're either virgins, sex workers, or mothers. Are those the three categories?
I think you're putting words into my mouth.
I think that's what Rob just said. Those are the three categories.
I'm just sat in the middle.
And women have to choose to be one of them.
So is that what you think?
I think that when a woman becomes a mother, she has a purpose. And I think that women should be having children as soon as possible. And I think it gives their life a direction. And I think it's the most important thing to preserve society, especially if you want to talk about geopolitics and talk about race and all of these things. If you want to have a country that looks like the country it used to be, you need to have the original people from there having children. I think all of that is true. Absolutely. I think every day a woman goes without having kids is primarily a waste of time. But once again, what does it matter what I think? Rob, I've given up. Rob. I've given up trying to save the world. I've
You
given
ha-
up.
no, you
No,
haven't.
Rob. I've
No,
given
you
up.
haven't.
I've given up on misogyny and all this
No,
shit.
you haven't.
They attacked me with the Matrix. They keep throwing me in jail. I am now all for women empowerment. I think women should run around as many men as they want. I like what Bonnie's doing. She's getting the bag. She's getting rich. Most girls out here don't want to have kids. They just want to get Birkin bags and Instagram likes. Good. I'm a feminist, a pro-feminism. This is the world now. How the world's going to end up, who cares about the future? Doesn't matter.
See, women go around, use sex to their advantage, but then are happy to cry about it straight away, saying, oh, he took advantage of me. And it's like, you're the one that wanted to do sex to have like the job promotion, or you're the one that wanted to have sex to get more attention or try and be more liked, but then they cry about it. And that's what I get frustrated about. And even with porn stars, like people in my industry, they'll do this for a few years, get the money, get the boob jobs, get the house. And then suddenly they go, oh my God, I was forced into the industry. Oh my God, someone took all my money.
Have you ever considered a job as a lawyer? Because I could do with you. You're 100% right. So this is the false dichotomy of society, right? So this is the reason when I said I like what Bonnie does, because Bonnie completely 100% owns what she does. And she says, it's my decision.
So here's the thing. You can do an interview like this and you can be, you can do the Tate strategy where he's not going to come at the woman per se, like the evilness, the evil things that the woman is doing and how what she's doing is messing up society. You can come at it that way and fully shame her in the interview and degrade her in the interview. Or you can take it this way. The way that he's doing is a strategic plan. What he's doing is he's like, you're not really that important at all. You're just an effect of what's something much bigger. He's making an example out of her. You are the example of what feminism has done to society.
And I've seen people try and lecture you. I've seen people sit there and try and lecture you and say like, oh, but you're a creature of God and you shouldn't be doing this. No, you should do whatever you want.
Exactly.
It's up to you to do whatever you want. And you're not saying anybody tricked you into it. It's your decision. And let's be honest, when they talk about taking women back 100 years, let's actually be very honest here, Rob. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
And that's the thing. You don't lecture a woman like this. She knows it. You took 1,500 penises in a day. You can say that she probably had sex with, it had to have been over 5,000 men, right? Oh, at least 10,000, over 10,000 men, right? With that being said, if she has sex with those many individuals, trying to lecture her isn't going to work. She's a 304. You're not going to change her behaviors, right? But what you can do is make a direct example out of her. What he did was, in his strategy, it's a good strategy. He's making an indirect example out of her.
There's always...
It's the oldest profession.
Ancient Rome had... There's always been... The Aztecs had... You think there weren't concubines in the fucking Ming dynasty? Sucking little Chinese pee-pee? Of course there were. There's always been... It's the oldest profession in the world.
Exactly.
So do you think it's a legitimate job?
So one of my strategies in an interview like this, you see how the interviewer is asking them both questions. I would ask her questions to maybe see where her morality is. We already know that she's a full hedonist and, probably don't have hardly any morals. But by asking questions like, would you want your son to marry a woman that is currently a woman like you, that's had sex with 1,500 men in a day? Would you want that type of woman for your son? I would want to know her answer. Now, her answer may be, yeah, sure. But you ask enough questions based in morality, it'll be a contradiction that'll come up. And then you'll be like, aha, see? You don't even want to do this. You know what you are doing is truly wrong, because if you don't want it for your son, your flesh and blood, then that means that you know the disgust and how evil the things that you're doing and how immoral it is. So that's how you can create an example of her. Now, you don't have to lecture to her, but you can create a direct example of her instead of indirect, the route that Tate is taking. All right, let's continue on.
Well, check her bank. I'm sure she's making loads of money. So here's where do you draw the line? If we're going to live in this false dichotomy, because the world was very simple once, not too long ago. And men had this terrible misogynistic view, which I, of course, don't agree with. that women can't make their own decisions because they're naturally chaotic. And when women decide anything, life's fucked up. In fact, these men in their disgusting, these men in their disgusting misogyny believed if you gave women the vote, we'd end up with open borders and drag queen story hours. So they didn't give women the vote. Then they did give women the vote, and society took a particular direction. But when men were in charge of things, women didn't have to worry about what they can do with their life because their father took care of it and then their husband took care of it. But now we live in a brand new world where women can make all of their own decisions. And the path she's chosen, I don't think is any different than most paths women take. I think she's just more honest about it and more upfront about it. If you're going to go to Dubai and meet a girlfriend and you think she hasn't been for money the entire time she was living in Dubai, then you're an idiot. If you're in Miami and you got girls on your boat and you think they're not for money all of the time. Now the
difference is the women that smashing for bread like that, like they're not complete escorts and stuff like that. But like they'll go to Dubai, they'll get flown out by a guy, and they'll have sex with this high status guy, a guy that has a lot of money. And they'll do this a few times within a summer or a few times within a year, get flown out by men of high status men and get smashed, right? And maybe even leave with a Birkin bag or something like that. Now, the difference between those women and a Bonnie Blue is those women still operate with a funnel of how they select a man, right? So meaning that the men that approaches them, the men that want them, all these women that operate like that take these girls trips and get flown out, all of these men come through a funnel, right? And then a lot of them get weaned out. Maybe if they're not attractive enough, maybe if they don't have the lifestyle that she wants, maybe if they don't have the finances that she wants, they go through this funnel. Then when she starts speaking to them and they get the number, maybe if this one isn't charismatic, maybe if this one seems like a little weird, they go through all of this funnel. Right. And then the woman selects the man based off of how she feels what would be a good vibe. So the woman is still acting based off of her feelings. Right. So even when the woman is being flown out to Dubai, flown out to Miami and getting smashed by men, she was still selective, meaning that she disqualified many men and selected Tyrone, the NFL player. And he clapped cheeks. Right. The difference between that woman and Bonnie Blue is Bonnie Blue doesn't have a funnel. She'll let a random dude off the street clap her cheeks, and she doesn't need any emotional ties to the man. Bonnie Blue is operating just how a man would act. She fully adopted the male's nature. Those 304s that get flown out and stuff, they didn't fully adopt the male's nature. Now, they're they're still operating in hypergamy. So they're still looking for some type of quality, and they're still looking for some type of emotional connection to an extent in order for them to be flown out and, have a good time and et cetera and et cetera. So yeah, that's the difference. Bonnie Blue, if we speak in WWE, she's Ultimate Warrior. She's Conan in them streets, bro. Like, she's really about that life, just having sex with random people, fat people. Anyone can get it. She's the can woman. Anyone can get it with her. Most of those 304s don't operate like that, bro. They're disqualifying many and only letting certain small percent of dudes hit.
May not say per hour, but they'll be fucking a guy they barely like to get the rent paid, or they're fucking a guy they barely like because he has a car.
Yeah.
So women are fucking for money all the time.
Like, yeah, is it women that do that because she need to get her bills paid or stuff like that? Yeah, but that's a difference. What Bonnie Blue is doing. Like, Bonnie Blue has zero standards. She'll just let anyone hit it. Those other chicks do have some standards. There's a funnel to get them cheeks. With Bonnie Blue, there ain't no funnel. There's just a door. The door is her legs. If the legs open, you in there.
Anyway, that's all women do now. The entire Western world is women f***ing for money. So how hypocritical would it be for me to sit here and say, Bonnie, who's honest, who monetizes it directly with her own media empire, who's upfront about it and makes money from it, is a worse person than the girl who walks around like she's goody two-shoes and then sucks in a Magaluf toilet. Because that's what most girls are doing anyway. Mm-hmm. Rob.
That part is facts. Andrew Tate is spitting right here. He's spitting. The one thing that's different about them, when we have to give it to Bonnie Blue, she's honest. What you see is what you get. What she's saying is exactly what you're going to get. She ain't lying over here. Them chicks that's being flown out, the difference is they are lying. They are lying. So that's the difference there. They are lying for sure, to those dudes that's flying them out. They making them dudes that's flying them out, they showing so much purity. Like, think about the man that just flew out a chick to Dubai or flew a chick to Miami. Those chicks are like, yeah, I'm so pure. I don't have a boyfriend. I'm not speaking to anyone. You know, I'm just, chilling. But, yeah, we can get to know each other. Yeah, I'll fly out to you. Yeah, what's up? We'll have some fun, stuff like that. They're like trying to like display this purity, which they're lying. Bonnie Blue, she don't care about no purity. She like, listen, pure? What? Pure? I'm with all the nasty stuff. I'm trying to get nasty. Ain't nothing pure over here, nigga. So that is a difference. We got to give him that. Tate was right on that.
They're all like this. Rob, they're all the same.
You trying to say I'm not special now?
No, I'm saying you're special, actually, because you've gone so far through. You've come out as the queen of it. Congratulations.
Yeah. But didn't you say this kind of thing is the demise of Western society?
I mean, if I was a misogynist, I would believe this is the final end result of feminism, and the end times are here, and that nobody's going to have kids anymore, and that the idea of a beautiful marriage between a man and a woman is now completely gone. I mean, if I was a disgusting misogynist, but since they keep raising...
But you don't have one beautiful...
This is what he's being sarcastic here. This is exactly what Andrew Tate feels. Yo, Bonnie Blue is like the Super Saiyan whore of female. She's like Super Saiyan. She's Ultra Instinct Goku whore. Her whole status is Ultra Instinct Goku. Dang.
Well, marriage, do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Have you slept with 1,057 women?
At least.
So are you quite similar?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's the male's prerogative to impregnate as many females as possible. This is the masculine prerogative. This is biologically my prerogative is to do that.
I think we should do a breeding competition. We'll see if you can get a girl pregnant quicker than I can get pregnant.
Well, I mean, that'd be a good competition. I think I'd win. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one, but it's interesting because it's interesting because you have to look at society. When you look at these things, you have to look at society.
Yeah, nah, Tate, you'll win.
From an animalistic perspective and a societal perspective. From the animalistic perspective, it is the masculine imperative to get as many women as possible pregnant.
Yeah, but if you want
to be purely
it's
animalistic,
not 1,512.
No, but let's be purely animalistic. Let's talk about this like professionals. If a man is high value, high testosterone, alpha male, whatever you want to call him, right? His imperative is to impregnate women. And he wants to take care of those women and take care of those kids. He's not overly interested in the kids. It doesn't mean he doesn't love them. It means he doesn't want to sit there and play with them all day. When you see a man who wants to play with a baby all day, that man is probably gay. It's boring.
Well, it doesn't mean he wants the kid.
No, he's gay. He's gay. So real men just want to pregnant, money, cool. See you an hour a week. Boom, boom, boom. Now, there's a lot of men who are going to disagree with me on that, but those are a lot of men I can beat shit out of, so I don't give a f. That's the truth of it. The female imperative is to find a man who's obsessed with her so that when she gets pregnant, she's going to have protection and provision when she's not capable of looking after herself. That is the female biological imperative and the masculine biological imperative. I'm still living to my biological imperative to some degree. If I were to, let's say, have 4 or 5 women and I had kids with 4 or 5 women and I took care of 4 or 5 women and I was with all of them and they were exclusively only with me and we had children over and over and over again, that's my biological imperative. It's actually against the female biological imperative to do what Bonnie is doing, I would argue, traditionally. But that means you break paradigms. That's great. But feminism and society and this brand new societal conditioning is convincing women that what they're supposed to do, which is find a man they love and be obsessed with him and get pregnant from him, is the wrong thing to do. Well, then let's all just become sex workers now. But
you disagree with that feminist program.
I don't have an opinion, Rob, because I have 14 criminal cases. I don't have an opinion. I'm just here. I'm a commentator. I'm just commentating.
Commentators have opinions.
I don't have an opinion. No, I don't have an opinion. Women can do whatever they want. Women are fantastic. We live in this great society now where women are girl bosses and better than us, while also are equals at everything, while also everything they do they regret was a man's fault somehow, as Bonnie described. They were tricked into it. So we live in this impossible situation where a man can't possibly win anyway, no matter what opinion he has. But I'm just saying it would be unprofessional and hypocritical of me to sit here and think that Bonnie is doing anything different or anything bad or anything wrong when she does the same thing 99.9% of Western women do anyway.
Okay, so Bonnie...
You get one extreme to the next. You get the women like me that are just sluts, and then you get the others that are lazy and won't even get on their knees and give a blowjob.
And they're sluts too. No, but this is the thing. They're sluts too. They're sluts for a different guy, or they're sluts for their ex, and they're not sluts for the new guy. These women are sluts too. It's all the same.
Like, I used to be a full service sex worker, like an escort, and I used to judge men that cheated. And then when I actually started speaking to these men, I was like, you know what? They've got a point. They're going to work. They're looking after their kids. They're still emptying the dishes because the wife's now refusing to do that, saying it should be equal. And then I say, well, when's the last time she gave you a blowjob? When's the last time she f***ed you? They couldn't name it. They couldn't even list the amount of times where they've had sexual intercourse.
Time out. Forget this point that she's making, where she's pretty much saying yeah, guys are in sexless marriages and sexless relationships and stuff. But there's levels to things. So she just said that she was a full escort or whatever. That's what she did. She did paid sex or whatever, sex work with individuals. And now look at the level she at, right? So what about the level before the escorting? Where was she then? Was she at strip clubs, or maybe just, because she's only 25. Was she in college or high school, a 304? And there was levels to it. Because when it comes to being a sexual deviant, she had to been broken as a young child. Something had to happen that created all of this perversion in her way of thinking for her to then want to take action on being this promiscuous. And I'm just speculating here, but it had to be something where okay, you probably did come, let's just give it to her. Maybe she did come from a 2-parent household and her father was there too. I think they do ask that question, and she says, yes, she did have her father in her life. But obviously she had a weak father. We can already say that. But let's just say that, maybe the father wasn't weak. She just truly rebelled. The other thing, for you to get to the level of having sex with 1,500 men in a day, the level before that you were an escort, sleeping with men based off of what they paid you. The level before that, you're probably just the college or high school whore, 304. But the level before that, that's the thing. Once you walk down the path of being a sexual deviant, you just want to keep on exploring and exploring and exploring. You're looking for another dopamine hit so you can get some sense of high. Because you probably got ran through and gangbanged in high school. Probably had a train ran on her. It was oh, wow, I think I like the way this felt with 2 at the same time. Well, let's see how 3 feels. Let's see how 4 feels. Let's see how 1,500 feels. It's I want to know the origin story. That's what I want from Bonnie Blue. That's what we need here. Chat. We need the origin story of this whoredom. That's what we need. The origin story of how she became the ultimate 304. So we can know what to do to avoid these other 304s from taking that same path. Now, what Tate is speaking about here, about feminism, well, that does play a path. I think that's the foundation of it. But we can say that even before feminism, there were always super 304s. There was always, women selling their bodies and stuff like that. So that's been around since the beginning of time. But as far as her origin story, her specific origin story, when did it come in your mind? You know what? I'll never feel satisfied until I sleep with every man on this planet.
So I'm of course you're going to need that. Of course you're going to cheat. So how can I ever say women are anything but lazy and poorly educated?
So do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years. Of
what? Taking
control of your body.
Correct.
Being independent. I earn my own money. I don't rely on a guy. I'm
Girl
paid
power.
Exactly. I'm paid more than other guys.
100%.
Do you think
She's speaking facts right here. She's being 100% honest too.
Clear example of what women have been fighting for years. Absolutely correct.
And now
I'm not going to sit here and lecture you about God. I'm not going to sit here and no, that's all. She is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years.
Yeah.
Women believe that they can do whatever they want.
Do you think they should be able to?
Listen, brother, I have 14 criminal cases. I don't want to be called a misogynist by the BBC. That would break my heart. That's not up to me. We're all individual sovereign people, and we make our own decisions. If women want to run around and do whatever they want to do, it's up to them. My point is, all women, on some scale, are doing what Bonnie Blue is doing. However, Bonnie Blue's just the best at it. She's the best. She's the queen of it. So why? It's
not all women are doing.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, language is important. She's the best at it. Well, we could say that you're only using that language because she's monetizing it and she's getting money off of it, so you're using best. But since she's out there, she's the most promiscuous, I would use a different word. I would say that she's the worst at it. And it's all about how you perceive it, because if you're looking at, money, and that's the main goal, the material stuff, then it's like, then yeah, you're the best. But if you're not looking at the material stuff, then it's like, you're the worst.
If a man walks into Starbucks and steals a chocolate bar, he's a thief. Yeah, correct?
Not in London.
Well,
it's legal.
Yeah. And if a banker manages to liquidate a ton of stock illegally in the stock market or rip off a bunch of people with a false investment fund, whatever it is, he's a thief, right? The morality is the same, whether you're stealing from the Wall Street or you're stealing from Starbucks. The morality of it is the same. But people will sit there and argue that the banker is somehow worse than the guy who stole the chocolate bar because of how much he stole. I wouldn't argue there's a difference in morality. There's a difference in capability. But the morality is the same. The banker's just smarter.
I'm just a clever...
You're just very good. She is very good at what she's decided to do. If you're going to be and most women watching this, and most men, hello, your wife, yeah, her, they're all anyway. If you're going to be no disrespect, you may as well be fucking good at it. Get a media empire, get rich, let everyone know your name, and get paid. Why are you going out to the pub, getting drunk, and meeting a man who's funny, and getting fucked in a toilet for free? Are you dumb?
They are, though. Women are stupid.
They're stupid. So Bonnie's just the smartest. She's the Wall Street banker of this whole shit. I respect that much more than these other girls. Rob, I grew up in Luton, England, bruv. You think I don't know? You think I haven't seen it? You think I haven't walked in the toilet and some bitch has got 5 dudes hanging out of her? This is the Western world. This is feminism. This is what all you white boys wanted. All you white men listening to women all the time, women get to opinions all of a sudden. This is what you built. Congratulations.
So you blame men?
Well, 100% I blame men, because everything's men's fault, because men are the only ones who can apply force to scenarios. Women can't apply force. Men apply force. If there's something we don't like, we apply force to the situation. We could force this away. We could force most things away. So everything's absolutely men's fault.
100% true. 100% true, Tate. Definitely, if we wanted to, collectively, we can come together and feminism can be going right now. Be going now. And women won't be in the workforce. They'll be prioritizing family and children and raising the next generation and so on and so forth. We can bring back the traditional way of life and stuff like that, right? But the thing is, it's men's fault because there's a lot of simp weak men out there. Simp weak men.
And this came from, the feminism and the women's sexualization and the liberation, a lot of it came from beta males hoping to get some. That's what it came from. Bunch of weak men, though. If we told girls to be, I might get a little bit. Because the natural order of the universe is the big gorilla, top G, smart. I'm smart. The big gorilla, top G, has a bunch of women, and then the small gorilla has nothing. This is the natural order of the universe. It's actually kind of still like that in many ways. There's a guy with the yacht with 10 wives, and then there's a guy with no yacht with no wife. It's kind of like that. But beta males didn't like that because they couldn't obviously compete with the top guy. So they've tried to push this sexual liberation, hoping to get a little bit. Probably works a little bit. But society's destroyed by extension. If you want to look at society for what it is, because what is society anything other than rearing and raising children? That's what society should be, I would argue. Society should be, the primary function of it should be, let's have kids so that we have a population. We have a population collapse in the West.
Yeah, I think they should have a choice. I before used to think, oh my God, I really want kids, I want a family. But it's because I was so naive to what else was open to the world. I just thought, okay, I need to get married, I need to have children. I need to get a good job. And that was what I thought life was. And then I was like, there's so much more to life rather than just staying in that, finishing school, going to uni, getting married, buying a house. And you just copy everyone else. Like half we do is because someone else has done it.
Okay, Bonnie, so let me ask you a question. I agree with you that now that we've opened up female horizons with education, with jobs, with the capability of making money, with Instagram and all these offers they get to fly around the world and all these things, women don't want to have kids, or they want to have kids later because they have a lot more options. I agree with you. But would you argue, if you were to look at it selflessly, not about the ant, but about the ant farm at large, that keeping women's horizons more narrow so they focused on rearing children would be better for society than the current society we're in, where we have to import a whole bunch of knows who's into the country to try and maintain a population because the white people aren't even having any kids because the white women are too busy sucking dicks in Magaluf.
Did you understand that?
To a certain degree, but I also couldn't give it. The world's going to shit anyway, so whether or not we've got more kids in it or not, it's regardless. So just live your life the best. You're going to be dead in however many years anyway.
Fair.
So don't
see her view is a very nihilistic view. Like, oh, the world is ending anyway, so who really cares? Just, do what you want. YOLO. You only live once, right? It's a very nihilistic view of viewing the world. And that view doesn't get you anywhere. That view of life only leads you to degeneracy and hedonism and materialism. That's where it leads you to. Material, you want all the finer things in life. You're worried about, you'll do anything for money. This is why she has sex with 1,500 men, because she's doing anything for money. And this type of view leads you to hedonism. Pleasure seeking, right? Women do not want any accountability, and they really don't want to be responsible for too much. So when you don't want any accountability, feminism will fit you perfect, because especially if you're a woman, feminism fits you perfect if you want less responsibility with more authority, but no accountability.
stress too much.
Fair. And this is what I like about Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue is my favorite. This is my favorite everything. Fair. Because what you just said, I understand and I agree with.
But it's selfish.
But what have I
But
said?
why should I not be selfish? Why should I give a shit about someone else that pays less tax than me, has, sits and complains, makes shitty TikToks about me? Like, I couldn't give a shit if your life's going shit. By the looks of it, you live in a council house, you've got a couple of kids with different dads. I don't care. So why should I sit there and think I should do something to help you? I don't care. I should focus on myself. And if more people did that, the world would actually be a better place. But they become so fixated on other people. I'm like, where's your life? Why are you not focusing on yourself? Like, look in the mirror, you're fat, go and do something about it. Your teeth have that much plaque on it. Like, you're
but what
Is this a good role model?
No, yes, because what
what
Bonnie's saying is important here, and it's not about what she's saying, it's about the general attitude. Because what I want to make clear, the reason society was run by men for so long is that men have a different biological instinct to women, and we're prepared to suffer for the greater good. Women are not very good at suffering. Men are good sufferers.
Look back at the wars. There's so much evidence of it.
Well, of course. And also, let's just look at the normal family. You talked about these men who come and see you, right?
Yeah.
But happy wife, happy life is true. And the reason it's true is because if the wife is unhappy, everyone's miserable because she'll make sure of it. But if the man's unhappy, everyone else can be happy. He'll suffer. He'll sit with no sex. He'll go to work every day.
Yeah.
He won't see his friends. He'll be miserable. He'll be depressed. He'll still pay the bills. He'll still pay the taxes. And everyone else gets to be happy. Men are good at suffering. Women are spiteful sufferers. And for that reason, they struggle to do anything. They struggle to suffer themselves for any greater good. Men have always died for a greater good. Men have always said, this is bad for me, but it's good for society. Bonnie just quite correctly, quite pertinently highlighted the fact that she believes in living her life the best way that she wants to live so she is happy. And I agree with you. That's what you should do. That's fine. Because you're a woman. That's how women think. Women don't think I shouldn't do this because I care about society by and large. Women don't think that way. And once you understand that logic, you can extrapolate that out to the fact that women shouldn't be in charge of a country ever. Because women are not prepared to take a bullet for a country, ever.
I mean, I guess I contradict myself a little bit because I help society.
See, that's when Tate's spitting. Remember when I told y'all he's making a bigger argument? He's doing it the indirect way. He's not really going to come at her. He's coming at her indirect. He's just using her as an indirect example to paint a bigger picture. So he's doing an excellent job here as far as like really making her seem less important than she is. It's just like, oh no, you're just an effect of, you know, what weak males propagated in society by letting feminism spread throughout the country and ruin the world and degrade society, and divorce rates is higher than ever before, and marriages is lower than ever before, and the population is the lowest ever before, as far as the population rate, not the population itself, but the rate that we are populating is extremely low. And that's in most Western countries with feminism, is because women are in the workforce and they're working, they're prioritizing their career rather than a family, having babies, 1 million abortions per year. This is women's rights. This is feminism. So he's just shining a brighter light on the bigger picture, which making little Bonnie Blue seem very, very little. And he's doing an amazing job at this. So let's continue on.
I tea out a lot. And I do that because do you see how many dicks I drain? How many balls I've been emptied out on my face? How many pies I've taken and scooped it out?
And how does that help society?
Sex workers help reduce rape rates by over 30%.
That sound like a stat you just made up.
No, Google it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Mental health, it's good for mental health as well. It stops
The true
men
fact is
killing
32%.
themselves. Yeah, stops men killing themselves. Sex work's an important part of the world.
So imagine if you're
Are
a
you
rapist.
saying that because you had a webcam business?
I'm not saying that because I had a webcam business. I'm saying that because it's absolutely and utterly true. The only point I was making earlier about women being in charge, I was actually trying to get to a final point. And the final point, I would argue, is that Bonnie has done no damage to society compared to giving the women the vote.
I've basically been a community worker.
Absolutely.
For example,
do you vote?
Not to be honest, I don't really know what's going on in the world.
So do you vote?
No.
Okay, she's perfect. she's out here. She's sucking
I am
dick.
wife material.
She's sucking. She's not voting. This is the kind of women we need. This is done. This is fine. If we stop women, we take the women's vote away. If you said to me, Andrew, fix society, all the women can either vote or be like Bonnie. I'd be like, make them all like Bonnie, give the men the vote back. We'll fix the whole country.
Even your daughter.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the reason why you'll fix the whole country because they wouldn't be able to be like Bonnie. So I see what he's saying there.
Why would she need to vote? I'm voting. Why would she need to vote when I'm voting? You're going to vote against your father. What kind of world is that? You know, it's really interesting to me. Since I had daughters, and I have a bunch, people always said, when you get a daughter, you're going to change your opinions. No, I didn't. When you have a daughter, you know, you see these dudes and they have a daughter and like the daughter's putting makeup on and they're like, girl dad. Just because you have a girl doesn't mean you become gay.
I think that's cute though.
No, but no, she's never going to put makeup on my face. I'm never going to be like, oh, my daughter wants, so I guess I just
sound
gave
like a farmer when you
she
say that.
melts my heart. No, you're going to obey me. Because
That's facts. I got two daughters. And my daughter, one daughter is 13. None of them ever put makeup on me, and they never put makeup on me. Fathers that do that junk be weird.
I'm your parent, and you are my child. My child can't vote against me, ever. That's civil war. That's against the rules. That's against the just working of the universe, sir. For me to have a certain opinion and my own offspring to have countering opinions. Then I'm going to be sitting at some fucking dinner table in 20 years. And my daughter or my sons, any of them, are going to be there arguing with me about anything. Actually, in school, I learned, you better shut the fuck up. Because you're in my fucking house. It's my mansion. It's to Tate millions. You're living on my money. You're going to do as I fucking say.
Until they're 18 or they move out?
If they want to completely cut me off and build their own version of life, I guess they could do that, but they won't do that. That's impossible.
It's how you bring them up. Like when they're 18, yes, they're an adult, but it's how you've brought them up.
Of course.
Like my parents brought me up.
Do you
as
have kids
much as-
though?
No, I don't.
No.
But like my parents, I mean, everyone says my parents can't love me. My family must have disowned me. It's not the case. My family brought me up to be independent and live my best life, how I want to live. And as much as people think that is so shameful, that's disgusting, like my life's become so much better and I'm happy. As much as people think I should be scarred, could kill myself and everything else, it's like, I am happy.
Yeah, that part I think is cope. She's not fully happy. That part is cope. And it may not be cope here, chat, But the only way to see if it's cope is, remember I said that I would do this interview a little bit different and I would be asking Bonnie questions to see where I could find contradictions in her moralities and in her beliefs. And within the questions that I ask her, since I am a debater, but it wouldn't be a debate, it would just be probing questions to see, you know, what do you really think? So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.